In this video, I'm going to start the Coptic binding process. So I'm going to start with, well, I've got everything set up first of all. I've got my book board, both covers aligned, my holes are punched everywhere. They're punched in the spines of my signatures as well. My thread has been measured and waxed and I'm ready to sew. So the first thing I'm going to do is to make a knot in the end of my thread. And all this knot does is to just ensure that when I go to pull the material through, pull the thread through the signature, that it's not going to pop through the hole. So if you've ever done any kind of hand sewing, maybe in your childhood, maybe you've done something like this before, but go ahead and make your knot. All right, once you got your knot, we are going to start with the bottom of the book. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and keep everything lined up neatly here. I'm going to put that over here for last and then stack my signatures on top. And I am going to take my needle and I'm going to come through the very bottom hole. So I'm going to actually start in the signature here. I'm going to pierce my needle through. Kind of hard to do this for the camera, but we got it. And I'm going to pull my excessively long waxed thread eventually all the way through this hole. Might take some finagling and a little patience, but it can be done. All right, there we go. Okay, so that is going to line up on top of the cover, and then I'm going to send my needle through the cover. And it might take some wrestling too, depending on how large I poked the holes with my awl. Once again, I'm going to pull and pull and pull until my thread comes all the way through. All right, now this is the part that's tricky, but if you think just around and through, it's what makes it make the most sense for me. So I'm going to send my needle. First of all, I'm going to go between the signature and the cover board, but I'm going to send it around that little piece of thread. I'm going to send it around. Probably easier to do this with a curved needle. It's basically, I'm just making a knot here. Ah. Get it tight without pulling a hole in my paper. And then I'm going to send my needle back through the signature, the same hole where I started. And once again, pull my excessively long thread. It's probably going to give me a few fits here and there. So it does pay to be patient. This is definitely one of the more tedious activities that I've picked up in life. It requires quite a bit of painstaking detail. All right, so let me just kind of work on that. And tighten it up a little bit. There we go. Next, I'm going to repeat in the next hole. Get my needle situated here. I'm about to have a knot on my hands. There we go. All right, and then once again, I'm going to go through the cover. Pull all the way through. Okay, and then I have to send my needle and thread around and behind this piece and then back through the signature. So I'm going to go around and then through. All right, the trick here is to catch the needle. Usually the easiest way, honestly, is just to pick the paper up. Sometimes on the edge ones I do a little different. Okay, and send it back through. It's definitely going to get easier as we use up more of the thread. All right, so now I did the around, and now I need to go through. Okay, so now we've done that a couple of times. It should feel a bit more natural. So coming through the next hole on your signature. And then through the book board. And once you've got all your thread, once again, you're going to go around and behind this little stitch right here and then through. So we're going to go around. Keep coming around. You went around the back, so you're coming now back out the other direction. I've created the first little part of my knot there. And then through. Straight into that signature again. All right, and we know what to do next. So it goes right through that hole. In the signature. And then through the cover board. Okay, and we go around. Actually, it's really simple this time, isn't it? Ah! Unless, of course, you lose your thread out of your needle. And it's so typical. That's why these wide-eye needles are so nice. Usually it makes the threading process that much easier. Okay. All right. Pulling all the way through. So once again, I'm just going around and send it back out again. Okay, and then we've been going around and through, right? Around and through. So I went around my little piece of thread here, but instead of going back through this signature, I'm going to put my next signature on. And I'm going to go through into it. And pull my thread all the way through. Okay, and then I'm going to sew back down the middle of my book. And pull. And then I go back to that same process of knotting that I did the first time. I'm going to go underneath. You always go underneath the signature that you just finished. So you just go under the one you're working on and the one right below it. And I'm going to go around and through again. So I go around the stitch that ties me to the cover. And pull it mostly tight. And then I'm going to go through. And I'm going to do that again, going right on down that signature. Once again, going around, and I find it easier to probably just lift up the signature here. If I had a curved needle, I could probably do things a little bit differently, but I have a straight needle, so this is the way I have to do it. All right, and then I'm going to go through my signature again. Oops. Uh-oh. Let's see what I'm doing. Okay. And then back down my signature. And same thing, around and through. So I'm going to go around a little knot, or my thread, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I go around. And once again, since I'm at the end, instead of going through this signature, I put my next signature on. And I'm going to go through the bottom hole there. And then I just move right into the next hole because that's what's open to me. And then I'll show you what I mean about where you sew next. All right, so now I've got this one. This is signature number 3. So for this one, I'm not going all the way back down to the split between the signature and the board again. I just go underneath the preceding signature. So that's going to be here between numbers 1 and 2. So I'm on number 3, so I go under signature 2. I'm going to use my needle here to try to find the right spot. And then same old instructions as before, go around and then through. Uh-oh. Where was I? Okay. Around. And then returning my needle. Maybe. Ah, not again. And bookbinding is often about very meticulous problem solving. Okay. And we were going through here. And then we did the around, and now we do through. So from this point forward, it's really pretty straightforward. Laying on all the signatures here follows really just the same exact pattern until you get to the very end of needing to sew on your covered board. Same thing, I'm just going to go around. Let's find the right spot. And then as you use up more and more thread, it goes faster. Well, A, because you're used to what you're doing, and B, you just don't have all that excess thread to get caught on stuff and confuse you. So I did around, and then through. That last hole. Okay, same thing here. around. And since it is the last hole of my signature, I'm not going to go through into it again. I'm just going to come around and go through the next signature that I lay here, and voila. So I'm going to pause this video, finish stitching, and then create a new video for putting the cover on.